Welcome, yogis. Jacqueline here. Today I'm going to be sharing a chair yoga practice. For this, you'll want a chair, maybe some blocks, and we'll begin sitting. If you're short like me, you might use blocks to elevate your feet. You want to sit in a way that you are grounded in your lower body. So you're not necessarily leaning back in your chair, maybe sitting up a little bit, feet are flat, hands on your lap, sit nice and tall. If you're comfortable to close your eyes, go ahead and do so, or you can always have your eyes halfway closed instead. We'll just start with a nice deep breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. You're going to do that a couple of times, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. So one more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And then begin to breathe now in and out of your nose. And see if your breath in could be a little bit longer. And your breath out a little bit longer. Breathing a little bit deeper. And just extending that length of your breath. And so the longer and deeper your breath, the more time you'll have to move. One more time, breathing in. As you breathe out, start to open your eyes. And so we're going to begin with just some gentle neck stretches here. So you'll be looking straight ahead. You're going to take your right ear towards your right shoulder. Breathing here. As you breathe out, you might just try to relax a little more. Or you might use your breath out to try and stretch a little bit more. And so one more time, we'll breathe. And you're relaxing or stretching deeper. Breathe in, let your head lift back into its neutral position. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So continuing to look straight ahead. Take your left ear towards your left shoulder. Now focusing on your breath. Every time you breathe in, breath is a little bit longer. Every time you breathe out, you might try to relax, or you might try and go even more into the stretch. So another deep breath in. Long breath out, relaxing or stretching more. And then we'll do that once again, breathing in and breathing out. Inhale to lift your head back to its neutral position. We'll work our shoulders now. So I want you to bring your fingertips to your shoulders and point your elbows towards the front of the mat or towards your knees. And then you're going to circle your elbows towards each other. So this is our internal rotation in the upper body. Elbows circle in. And then let your elbows circle away from each other. This is our external rotation. And then release your hands. Taking your hands to your chair here. You're going to hold your left hand at the seat, have your right arm reach up, and begin to lean to the left, coming into a side bend. And just be careful that the right hip doesn't lift. You're going to stay grounded through the lower body. Take a deep breath here. And then we'll go into a twist. So coming to sit up, take your right hand to your leg and reach your left hand to the back of your chair. And then kind of assisting yourself here with that twist, you'll look towards your left shoulder and breathe. The next time that you're breathing out, turn back around to the front of your seat. You're going to bring your hands to your chair, and it'll be the right hand that hangs on. Left hand will come up. You're going to lean to the right in a side bend. Be mindful that that left hip hasn't lifted. There's that grounded feeling in your lower body. You'll take another breath here in your side body stretch. And then you'll go into a twist, or first you can sit up and then take your left hand to your right thigh, and that right hand's going to come to the seat. And then you can use this support to help twist. As you look towards your right shoulder, you're going to breathe. And just be mindful of your posture, that you're staying upright in your back. And as you exhale, you'll turn back around to the front of your mat. Reaching your hands towards your right knee, begin to lift your knee and create a circle here. So you might think of your knee doing the circle, but this movement really kind of warming up our hip. And then circling the other way. So again, getting that internal and external rotation. We'll switch and do our other foot. So taking your hands to your left knee is going to lift. You'll circle it, and you should kind of feel that warm up in your hip, that ball and socket joint. We're going to do this in the other direction. And then releasing that foot to the ground. Hips have a little more mobility now, and we'll go into pigeon pose. So you're going to take your right ankle, and you might cross it at your knee. Sometimes that can be too intense, so you might cross along your shin or at your opposite ankle. You're going to breathe in and sit tall wherever you are. And with your out breath, start to fold forward. And that's going to deepen the stretch that you feel. You might notice it around your hip or around your low back. If you've ever had issues with sciatica, this can be a really good pose to provide relief. Take one more breath here. And then as you're breathing in, begin to lift back up in your seat. And we'll switch to the other side, setting your right foot on the ground or on your prop. Cross your left ankle over your knee, at your shin, or at your ankle. Sit tall, and as you breathe out, fold forward. And that's going to deepen the effect of the hip and the low back stretch. You can always fold more, maybe even reaching your hands to the floor if you've got a lot of flexibility. But remember to never force anything. Breathing deeply. Use an inhale to sit back up. And we'll set our left foot on the ground and actually move now to some standing poses. So what we'll do is come and stand behind the chair. And as you practice chair yoga, just keep in mind stability is so important. You want to make sure that the four corners of your chair are on the mat or some kind of support so that you don't slide as you come into this. Now, in these poses, the chair is really there as optional support. So if you feel pretty balanced and you want to do all of this with your hands at your heart, you're more than welcome to. But chair's there for you to hold if you need. Let's start to stretch our feet, lifting the heels. Come to stand on the balls of your feet. If your balance does feel good, you might bring the palms to meet. And so remember drishti, that's focal point. That's where you're looking at. If you can look at one spot, that does tend to help us as we balance. Now breathe in. And as you breathe out, bring your heels back to the ground. And I want you to lift your toes and spread your toes out. But other than the toes lifting, the other corners of your feet are going to continue to press down. And again, maybe the palms come and meet at the heart. Breathing here. And then release your toes. And so you might hold on to the chair for this. A couple of stretches for our feet. You're going to take your toenails, bring them to the ground. And so kind of curling your toes under here. Make sure that on this opposite side, so on your left leg, you're standing tall, your hip is over your knee is over the ankle. Maybe your palms come and meet. Take a deep breath. And then while we're on our right leg, we'll do kind of the opposite stretch. So right now your toes are curled under. We want to uncurl our toes, maybe slide your foot back a little bit so that your feet are flexed, getting a different stretch. Sometimes that pinky toe is not really involved. You might adjust here so that it is included. Palms can come and meet, or they can stay at the seat. Take a deep breath. And then releasing your hands and releasing your foot, we'll do that on the other side. So we're going to start by curling our toes under, toenails to the ground. And you're aware as you stand that on the other side, so that'll be the right side here, everything is aligned, everything is tall, bone on bone support. Maybe try a breath with the hands at the chest. And then we'll go into the other toe stretch. So you want to flex your foot. You're going to uncurl your toes, slide your foot back a little bit. And kind of notice if your pinky toe needs a little extra attention to become involved with this. Your palms might meet at the heart, taking a deep breath wherever you are. And then releasing your hands and releasing your feet so that you're in a mountain pose with maybe about hip distance in between your feet. Bring your hands behind you and maybe hold your fist or hold your shirt. Or if you're pretty flexible, you might even interlace your fingers. And we're going to create a back bend, widening this area across the collarbones, lifting the chest, lifting your chin. And you might even then press your hands towards the ground. And so not forcing, you can do as much or as little as you need. Take a deep breath into the upper body. Breathe out, let it go. Hands release. And just make sure you're in a neutral position in your back. You're not overarching. And bring your arms out so that they're parallel to the ground. Cross your right arm over your left, and like you were giving yourself a hug, you'll hold shoulders. Bend your knees coming into chair pose. Your hips sinking back, and you can either keep your arms just like that, or with your elbows, one on top of the other, you might lift the back of the hands towards each other, eagle arms. With your back, again, be aware that you're not overarching. That low belly draws in towards the back. Take a deep breath. Straighten your legs, reach your arms to a T. Then bring your arms to be parallel to the ground in front of you. You're going to cross your left arm over your right, and like you're giving yourself a hug, you'll hold shoulders. Breathing in. Exhale, bend your knees, sit your hips low for chair pose. You can stay just like this, or if you want to come into more of that eagle arm position, you can bring the back of the hands towards each other, or maybe your palms wrap. Wherever you're at, staying low in the hips, belly drawn in so you're not overarching in your back. Breathing here. To come out, you'll straighten your legs, reach your arms to a T, and then let your hands release. And if it feels good, shake off your shoulders, or just shake off your legs, you can. And we'll do another pose while we are standing here behind the chair. So with your right foot pretty close to the seat, you'll step your left foot back, bending your right knee. And ideally, you're going to balance on the ball of your left foot here. If that doesn't work for you, you can have that back foot flat. But a little more balance as you stand on the ball of the foot. Pressing into the right foot here and bending that right knee, you might bring one or both hands to meet at your heart. And then you might bring one or both hands overhead. Just see where you can go today, finding your balance. And then as you breathe out, take your hands down to the chair. You're going to create a push-up motion in your upper body, bending your elbows and taking your chest to the back of the seat. And we'll do 3 of these. Inhale to straighten your arms and lift back up. As you exhale, try to not let your elbows go wide, but rather hug them in towards the sides of your body. Inhale to extend, and we'll do that one more time. Exhaling to bend the elbows, hugging them in. Inhaling to stand up, and then your left foot can step up, and basically go where the right foot was. It's kind of almost in the middle of your seat. Your right foot will step back, bending your left knee. Ideally, you might balance on the ball of that back foot. But of course, if you need more stability, let that back foot be flat. Wherever you're at, you're bending your left knee, pressing into the left foot. Maybe one or both hands come to meet at the heart. Or maybe one or both hands start to lift overhead. And you know that your chair is there. So if you need to hold on to it, please do. But finding some balance here. Take another breath. Bring your hands to the back of your chair. On an exhale, your elbows will bend, staying hugged in towards the sides of the body for a push-up. Breathe in to lift back up. Exhale, bend your elbows. Keep looking a little bit in front of your chair. Inhaling back up. Once more like that, we'll exhale to bend down. And inhale to stand back up. Stepping the right foot up to the left. Maybe shake out your legs. We'll do a little balance next. So we'll turn and have one side of our body facing the back of the chair. So if you'll turn to the right, that should align you so that this left side of your body, left hand, is against the chair. And then what we'll do is begin to lift the right knee. And it might just be that your foot hovers the ground. You might be able to lift the knee enough so that your hand can reach. Again, you're not forcing anything. And on this left side of the body, everything is lined up. So your shoulder is over your hip is over your knee is over your ankle. And that's going to keep everything strong and stable for you to stand. Take another deep breath. Crown of your head is tall. Shoulders are relaxed. And see if you can go now into a tree. So bringing your knee out to the side, you'll place your foot maybe against your thigh or your shin or your ankle. Now, don't start to lean into that left side here. Stay long and aligned. You're going to press into your foot, lift through your hips. Crown of your head is tall. Shoulder over hip, hip over knee, knee over ankle. Maybe one hand comes to meet at your heart, or maybe both can. Or maybe one arm reaches overhead, or maybe both. Wherever you are, take a deep breath. And breathe out, lower your hands down, lower your foot down. And we'll switch to the other side now. So you'll turn to face the back of your seat, and then you're going to turn to the left so that it's this right side of your body, right hand that's holding on to the chair. And your shoulder will stay over your wrist. Your shoulder will stay over your hip. Hip will stay over the knee, knee over the ankle. So everything is lined up on this right side of your body. Begin to lift your left knee up. And you might be able to lift it enough so that you can get your hand to it, but you don't have to force it. Standing tall, you'll press into your foot and lift through the crown of your head. Take a deep breath. Bringing your knee towards the side of the mat here, start to set your foot up against your leg. That can be up at your thigh, at your shin, or at your ankle. And try to not lean in, so that's what tends to happen here, especially when we've got that chair. We want to lean into the support. And there is a time and a place for that, especially in restorative yoga. But here today, we're working our balance. We want to stand tall. Press into your foot. Lift through the crown of your head. Maybe your hands meet at your heart. Maybe your hands meet overhead. Breathing deep. The next time you breathe out, have your hands lower down. And then lower your foot. And we'll turn back to face the back of our seat, but then we'll actually be turning our chair around so that the seat of your chair is what is facing you now. Once you've done that, you're going to bring your hands onto that. If that doesn't happen very easily or comfortably, you can always have a block or some kind of yoga propping to make that part a little easier. But hands are going to come onto your chair. You're going to have your shoulders over your wrists, that same bone-on-bone support. And so in your lower body, you're going to step, kind of like a tabletop. You're going to have your hips over your knees over your ankle. Then from this, we'll move into spinal balance. So I want you to lift your left foot and start to slide your foot back. You can keep your toes at the mat, or you might lift your foot, and if you do lift your foot, flex your foot. You don't want your toes to turn to the side. You're going to make sure your toes are pointing towards the floor. And then it might just be this is where you stay. You can see if that right arm could extend forward, and you could even rest it on the chair, or you might have it kind of hover up there. It's a really good, strong pose for our joints and for our core. So take your right hand down, take your left foot down. We're going to try that on the other side now. You'll send your right foot back. Find some balance. And again, if you need to keep your foot on the floor, that's perfectly fine. But if you're okay to balance today, you're going to lift your foot and flex it, having your toes point towards the floor. You don't want to look straight down. You're going to look a little bit kind of out past your chair, out past your mat there. Left arm extends. Remember, it can prop on the seat if you need. Breathing here, spinal balance. And then releasing your hand and releasing your foot. We're going to come into a forward fold with our feet about as wide as our chair. You're going to bend your knees. And if you've got a lot of flexibility, you might be able to hold elbows and come and rest in the chair. If you're not quite there, you can again use a block so you're not having to go quite as low. But you can get something to kind of lean on in your forward fold. And we'll take a breath or two here. And then breathing in, we're going to come back up into that table where you've got your hands on the seat. Bring your left foot to be centered at your chair. And step your right foot back about 2.5, maybe even 3 feet. And turn your right toes to this longer edge of the mat. And you're going to have your left hand centered on the seat or even centered on a block. Your right hand, let it reach up to the ceiling, triangle pose. Breathing here. It's also balance. You're going to press into both of your feet. One more breath. And to come out, you'll take that right hand down, stepping back to a table. Just kind of folding over your chair. Have your right foot step up. Your left foot will step back about 2.5, 3 feet. Right hand centered in the chair. Left hand lifting up towards the ceiling. Breathing here. Pressing into your feet to keep your balance. And preparing to come out. Let your left hand come down. Step your feet back to table. Have a little bend in your knees and lift your head and come back to stand. We're done with our chairs, so we'll actually move it aside and start to make our way onto the mat. Breathe in and let your hands lift. And as you breathe out, you're going to fold forward, letting your knees bend and your hands walk forward so that your hands can be on the ground. And then once you've done that, you'll step your feet back to come into that downward facing dog pose. That's a lot like an upside down V. From here, gently come down onto your knees. And so here, once you're on all fours, having that nice alignment of shoulders over wrist, hips over knees. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your head and chest for cow. Exhale, round your back and tuck in your chin for cat. Then relax into a neutral spine and drop your hips towards your heels in a child's pose. Breathing here. See if your breaths could be a little bit longer. And we'll begin to do a couple of poses where we're sitting. So, letting your hands walk towards you. You're going to lift up and swing your feet around, coming down onto your tailbone. Having your knees bent, extend your right leg. Have your right foot flexed. Twist towards the left with your left hand behind you, and either your hand or your elbow can grab your knee. Take a deep breath here. Untwist, turning back to the front of your mat, and we'll switch. Extend your left leg now. Have your left foot flexed. Twist to the right, so that right hand's behind you, and your hand or your elbow can hold your knee. Looking towards that right shoulder here as you breathe. And then untwisting and turning back to the front. Straighten out both of your legs. Let your arms reach overhead and start to fold. And so you might have a slight bend in your knees if you've got a block and it's not too far out of reach. You could even slide that under your legs. Take a deep breath. Slowly sit up. You can keep your hands down. If you had a block, set it aside. We'll do one pose to build a little bit of strength. So bending your knees, you'll hold the back of your legs, start to lean back, and it might be here that you can feel your core working. You can take it a step more, having your arms reach forward, and maybe even one more step, letting the feet float from the ground. Breathing here. As you breathe out, set your feet down and scoot forward so you've got enough room to lie down. You're going to come onto your back and pull your knees up towards your chest. Hold your right knee and straighten your left leg. If that's a little too intense, you can do this with your left knee bent. Breathing here. And then switching sides, you'll hug your left knee and either straighten your right leg or have your right knee bent. Breathing wherever you are. And then hugging both knees, set your feet flat on the ground. And we're going to do a back bend bridge pose. Have your hands beside you. Press into your feet and lift your hips, even if there's just enough room for you to slide a piece of paper underneath. But you might find you've got flexibility and can lift a little bit higher here. Breathing wherever you are. And then the next time you breathe out, gently bringing your hips back to the ground. Create a little twist with the windshield wiper movement, rocking your knees from side to side. And then come to find a savasana, extending your legs. Or since you've got your chair there, if you want to bring that onto your mat and place your legs up onto that, you can. And I'll just kind of get you started in this savasana, and you can stay for as long as you would like. Make some adjustments with your body so that you're relaxed here and resting comfortably. You might nod your head side to side. You might lift your chest and tuck your shoulders a little better underneath you. Opening the hands, letting the toes roll towards those outer edges of the mat. And once you've got your body comfortable, bring your focus to your breath. Breathe in through your nose. Breathe out through your mouth. Doing that for a couple of rounds to get you relaxed here. Feel free to stay in this savasana for as long as you would like to today. Namaste.